Welcome to a realm where the boundary between human ambition and the infinite unknown fades into the mist. From the crushing depths of the sapphire abyss to the soaring peaks of glass titans, we are about to unveil 96 secrets that redefine our existence on this planet. Some are monuments of ego. Others are sacred whispers of the ancient earth. Before we begin this epic voyage, please subscribe to our channel to join our global community of explorers. Also, let us know in the comments, from which nation are you watching us today? The journey into the extraordinary starts now. Step back and stay silent, for there is a haunting stillness surrounding this vessel that defies common logic. The Galaxy of Happiness is a 53-meter trimaran masterpiece, launched in 2016 by Latitude Yachts, engineered to achieve a blistering 30 knots while using 40% less energy than traditional hulls. Its aerospace-grade stability allows it to remain calm even when the ocean is in a violent fury. Visually, it looks like a silver alien spacecraft that has descended from the stars to rest upon the water, its three-pointed hull slicing through waves like a razor. Local legends among sailors whisper that those who stare too long at its metallic glow might see reflections of a future not yet written. As the moonlight hits its carbon fiber frame, a ghostly blue aura emanates from the waterline, feeling like a warning from a different dimension. In this cold, mechanical perfection, one must ask, is this a vessel of joy or a silent observer from a world we do not understand? Behold the weight of $500 million manifest in a structure that commands the very horizon it sails upon. A+, formerly known as Topaz, is a 147-meter giant from the Lursen shipyard, engineered with a displacement of over 12,000 tons. Owned by Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan, this vessel is a fortress of technical superiority, featuring twin helipads and a stabilization system that defies the roughest swells of the Mediterranean. Visually, it stands as a silver titan guarding the gateway to the deep, its massive silhouette appearing like a scar of progress across the sapphire blue of the sea. There is a profound sense of national pride in every weld of its steel, a symbol of a region's rise to global dominance. As the evening lights flicker across its 8 decks, a shimmering aura of gold and silver surrounds the hull. In this display of absolute magnitude, what is the true price we pay for a legacy that never fades? Imagine a fortress of glass and steel that defies the very laws of the horizon, a monument to human ambition floating upon the restless tides. The Sunseeker 90 Ocean is not merely a vessel. It is a declaration of dominance over the sea. Measuring 27 meters in length, with a massive 7-meter beam, this engineering marvel boasts a 20% increase in overall volume compared to its predecessors. Its innovative beach club platform transforms the stern into a private oasis at the water's edge, blending heavy industrial power with delicate luxury. Visually, the 90 Ocean stands as a floating crystal palace, its floor-to-ceiling windows slicing through the sapphire waves like a diamond cutting through silk. As the golden hour strikes, the reflection of the setting sun dances upon its hull, creating a shimmering aura that feels less like a machine and more like a living extension of the ocean's soul. In this convergence of opulence and engineering, one cannot help but feel the weight of our own existence. As the light fades into the deep blue, we are forced to ask, in the vastness of the eternal sea, does such a grand creation make us masters of the world, or merely more elegant wanderers within its infinite mystery? Why would a human mind seek to dwell in a kingdom where the sun can never reach, choosing the crushing weight of the deep over the freedom of the sky? The Phoenix 1000 is not just a vessel, it is a 65-meter submersible luxury fortress, an ambitious engineering concept designed to offer over 460 square meters of lavish living space at depths of up to 300 meters. Constructed with the structural integrity of a deep-sea predator, its massive integrated acrylic pressure hulls provide a panoramic view of the haunting midnight zone of the ocean. Visually, it resembles a sleek silver needle piercing the heart of the abyss, a silent ghost gliding through the cold, lightless currents. Local legends among deep-sea explorers speak of phantom echoes detected near such vessels, warning that the silence of the deep is never truly empty. As the interior LEDs cast a cold, azure glow against the thick, pressurized glass, one feels the terrifying weight of the entire ocean pressing against the soul. In this pressurized cathedral of steel, we must ask, do the echoes we hear belong to the machinery, or are they the voices of an ancient world that does not wish to be found? Witness the engineering heartbeat of the Middle East, a monument to the absolute power and vision of human leadership. Dubai, a 162-meter Titan originally commissioned by Prince Jeffrey Bolkiah and finished for Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, was once the largest yacht in the world. It features a spectacular circular staircase with glass steps that change color, alongside a massive atrium that serves as the ship's spiritual center. Visually, it is a floating palace of glass and steel, a glittering city on the water that reflects the golden pride of its nation. This vessel is not just a luxury, it is a declaration of presence upon the global stage. As the desert sun reflects off its polished hull, the ship glows with a radiant heat that feels like a blessing from the sands. In this convergence of wealth and engineering, we are left to wonder, in the vastness of the eternal ocean, does such a grand creation make us masters of the tides? Beware the blinding glare of this golden titan, for the Kalila is a predator of the high seas that demands your absolute attention and respect. Launched in 2014 by the legendary Palmer Johnson, this 49-meter marvel is the first all-carbon fiber superyacht ever built, capable of slicing through treacherous waves at a staggering top speed of 30 knots. Its revolutionary trimaran hull design provides incredible stability even when the ocean is in its most violent moods. Visually, it is a massive metallic golden beetle skittering across the sapphire surface of the Mediterranean, its unique paint reflecting the sun with a ferocity that can be seen from miles away. Sailors often whisper that the ship's unnatural golden hue acts as a beacon for the spirits of the lost, claiming that at the stroke of midnight, the hull emits a low, rhythmic hum like a mechanical heartbeat. As the moonlight hits the carbon curves, creating a haunting, obsidian gold shimmer, a sense of dread mixes with awe. Is this golden streak a symbol of human triumph, or a glittering lure leading us toward a destiny we cannot escape? Some vessels sail, and then there is the Tatiana, a symphony of professional craftsmanship written upon the tides. As the flagship of the Bilgin 263 series, this 80-meter masterpiece represents the pinnacle of Turkish yacht building, engineered with a unique eco-friendly exhaust system that allows it to glide through protected waters with a clean conscience. Its sleek, aggressive lines are balanced by an interior of Macassar ebony and eucalyptus, creating a sanctuary of profound stillness. To look upon Tatiana is to see a graceful white swan, its elongated curves echoing the natural flow of a Mediterranean breeze. Moving with a silent authority that commands respect from the waves themselves. When the moon rises, casting a silver glow across the polished decks, a sense of divine peace descends upon those on board, as if the vessel has become a floating temple of purification. The water rippling against the hull sounds like a whispered prayer from the depths. Does this bridge between man's desire and nature's beauty offer a glimpse of a higher harmony, or is it a beautiful distraction from the silent truths that lie beneath the surface? Enter a realm of absolute protection and silent luxury, where the noise of the world is filtered through a fortress of spiritual stillness. Eclipse, costing a staggering $1.5 billion, is a 162.5-meter sanctuary belonging to Roman Abramovich, featuring a missile defense system and a specialized paparazzi laser shield. It is not merely a yacht. It is a private kingdom equipped with 2 helipads and its own 3-person submarine for exploring the hidden depths. Visually, it resembles a cathedral of light reflecting the moon, its white hull glowing with a purity that masks its heavy industrial power. Standing on its deck feels like a spiritual cleansing, a moment of being suspended between the chaos of life and the peace of the void. As the emerald lights of the pool reflect against the dark water, a sense of sacred isolation descends upon the soul. Can such a grand structure truly buy peace, or is it a golden cage built to keep the truth out? Behold a masterpiece that blurs the line between a royal palace and a futuristic dreamscape, a vessel designed to capture the essence of fire and water. Built by the legendary Lursen shipyard and stretching nearly 100 meters, Kismet is an icon of bespoke luxury, featuring a signature silver jaguar statue that guards its bow. Its multi-deck layout features a sweeping staircase and a fire pit, allowing for warmth amidst the chilling sea air. The yacht's exterior is a gleaming silver arrow aimed directly at the heart of the sun. Reflecting every ripple of the ocean with a mesmerizing metallic intensity. As the evening lanterns flicker and the scent of jasmine drifts through the open-air lounges, the atmosphere becomes heavy with a sense of ancient reverence, as if the ship were a conduit for the gods of the sea. The shimmering deck lights reflect off the waves like fallen stars, inviting a moment of absolute spiritual stillness. Is this grand display of wealth a tribute to the majesty of the heavens? Or is it a golden cage built to protect us from the raw, untamable power of the elements? Stop and listen to the ice cracking against the steel hull, for the Beyond 37 is built to enter forbidden realms where most ships would meet a swift and watery grave. Part of the rugged BOB Explorer series, this 37-meter steel-hulled Titan is engineered for long-range autonomy, featuring specialized ice-reinforced plating and heavy-duty stabilizers to survive the world's most hostile environments. While its high-volume interior is designed to keep the cold at bay, the exterior tells a story of brutal survival. Visually, it resembles a scarred warrior in gray armor, standing defiant against the towering, jagged white walls of the Arctic. Local Inuit legends warn that those who venture too far beyond may hear the singing of the frost spirits in the engine's roar, a sound that has driven many explorers to the brink of madness. As the aurora borealis casts a ghostly green light over the frozen deck, a chilling sensation of being watched from the white void creeps into the heart. Can we ever truly explore the ends of the earth without leaving a piece of our sanity behind in the ice? Beneath the crushing weight of the abyss lies a sanctuary where time itself seems to hold its breath, away from the chaos of the sunlit world. The Migaloo M5 is the ultimate frontier of luxury, a 165-meter private submersible yacht capable of diving to depths of 250 meters. Designed for those who seek the ultimate privacy, it features a pressure-resistant hull that houses a cinema, a gym, and a wine cellar, all while surrounded by the silent pressure of the deep. It appears as a prehistoric leviathan, reimagined in chrome and gold, a silent titan slumbering in the twilight zone of the ocean floor. In the darkness of the deep sea, the soft bioluminescent glow of the interior lights creates an atmosphere of sacred isolation, a feeling of being cradled in the very womb of the earth. In this silent, pressurized cathedral, the ego of the surface world dissolves into nothingness. When you are suspended in the eternal blue where no light reaches, do you find your true self, or do you realize that the most profound secrets are those we can never hope to bring back to the light? Step into a realm where the air smells of salt and luxury, and every reflection tells a story of elegance and quiet power. This second iteration of the Tatiana concept emphasizes the fluid transition between indoor and outdoor living, utilizing vast expanses of glass to ensure the horizon is never out of sight. With a top speed of 20 knots and a massive beach club featuring a glass-bottom pool, It is a marvel of hydrodynamic efficiency and aesthetic grace. It stands as a floating cathedral of light, its structure so transparent that it seems to merge with the sky until the two become indistinguishable. When the morning mist clings to the hull, the vessel appears to hover between the water and the clouds, a ghost of silver and white. This ethereal presence evokes a feeling of spiritual cleansing, a sense that one has transcended the mundane world and entered a higher plane of existence. As you stand on the deck, lost in the blue void, the question remains: can a physical structure truly liberate the spirit? Or are we always anchored to the earth by the very things we build to escape it? How is it possible for a structure that looks as delicate as a dragonfly's wing to conquer the violent, unpredictable moods of the open ocean? The Adastra is a 42.5-meter trimaran masterpiece, the result of 5 years of meticulous design and aerospace-grade engineering by John Shuttleworth. Constructed from honeycombed carbon fiber and Nomex, it boasts a phenomenal range of 4,000 nautical miles, allowing it to traverse the vast Pacific on a single tank of fuel. Visually, it appears as a futuristic spacecraft that has accidentally landed in the water, its slender outriggers stretching out like the silver limbs of an alien insect. There are unsettling rumors among dock workers that the ship moves with an unnatural silence, as if it is being guided by an invisible, ghostly hand through the morning mist. When the twilight sun catches its aerodynamic frame, the ship glows with an otherworldly luminescence that defies scientific explanation. Does this silent traveler truly belong to our world? Or is it a sign of a cold future where we have finally traded our human warmth for mechanical perfection? Why would a crew risk everything to sail across the vast, lonely oceans using nothing but the fragile rays of the sun? The Turinor Planet Solar is a 31-meter catamaran and a historic pioneer, famously being the first vessel to circumnavigate the globe entirely on solar power in 2012. It is covered in over 512 square meters of specialized solar panels that harvest every available photon to drive its silent electric motors. Visually, it looks like a giant, high-tech lily pad or a floating black diamond, its flat, dark surface absorbing the light of the heavens like a black hole. Despite its scientific purpose, sailors tell of a strange, hollow feeling when standing on its silent deck, as if the ship is a ghost vessel drifting through the corridors of time. As the solar cells soak up the final embers of the day, the ship emits a faint crystalline vibration that feels like a spiritual hum. In this absolute silence, where no engine roars, one is left alone with the voice of the wind. Are we finally learning to dance with nature, or are we just drifting closer to a silence we aren't yet ready to hear? How is it possible for a structure this massive to move with the silent grace of a ghost passing through a wall? Hemisphere is the world's largest sailing catamaran, a 44-meter engineering marvel designed by VPLP and built at the Pendennis shipyard. It features a towering 58-meter mast that supports sails large enough to cover a small village, allowing it to harness the raw power of the wind with unprecedented efficiency. Visually, it resembles a giant white albatross with its wings fully spread. gliding across the turquoise waters of the tropics with a quiet, terrifying authority. There are unsettling rumors that when the wind dies down, the rigging hums with a frequency that vibrates within the human soul, asking questions only the deep sea can answer. As the sun sets behind its massive sails, casting a long, dark shadow over the reef, the atmosphere turns profoundly spiritual. Does this silent giant truly belong to the wind, or is it a predator waiting for the perfect moment to vanish? Look upon the undisputed king of length and speed, a technical triumph that redefined the limits of what a ship can be. At a staggering 180 meters, Azam is the longest private yacht in existence, yet it is capable of reaching speeds over 30 knots thanks to its revolutionary water jet propulsion system. This Lursen masterpiece was built in just 3 years, a record-breaking feat for a vessel of such complexity and scale. Visually, it appears as a white spear piercing the heart of the ocean, its lines so long and lean that they seem to stretch into infinity. The sheer scale of Azam evokes a feeling of divine light. A sense that human hands have finally reached the pinnacle of technical perfection. As the spray from its jets creates a rainbow in its wake, one feels the raw, spiritual power of human ambition. How far can we push the boundaries of the sea before the sea begins to push back against us? This is the final boundary where human wealth meets the divine, a vessel that has traded its soul for the most precious elements of the earth. History Supreme is a 30-meter yacht that cost an unthinkable $4.8 billion. Largely because it is wrapped in 100,000 kilograms of solid gold and platinum. Its interior features a wall made of meteorite stone and a statue carved from the bone of a Tyrannosaurus rex. Visually, it is a solid gold scar upon the blue earth, a shimmering monument to the extreme vanity of human existence. The ship does not just sail. It glows with a heavy, ancient light that feels as though it has stolen the fire of the gods. As the sun sets, the gold hull burns with a ferocity that is both beautiful and terrifying, reminding us of our own fleeting time. Does this ultimate display of material power bring us closer to immortality? Or does it only highlight how small we are in the eyes of eternity? Do not touch the stone, for it has taken millions of years for the earth to weep these shapes into existence. Jijin Cave in Guizhou is one of the world's largest and most complex karst caves, featuring enormous chambers that could house entire skyscrapers. The cave is filled with over 40 different types of karst formations, including the silver rain tree, a 17-meter-tall stalagmite of breathtaking delicacy. Visually, it resembles an underground palace of crystal thorns, or a cathedral built by a civilization that never saw the sun. Local whispers warn that the cave is alive, and the dripping water is the rhythmic pulse of the mountain's heart. As the artificial lights catch the damp crystal surfaces, the cavern glows with a haunting, multicolored radiance. Standing in the immense darkness of the main hall, a chilling sense of smallness descends upon the soul. Does the earth dream in these dark chambers? And what would happen if we were there when it finally woke up? How can a place be so lush and vibrant, yet feel as though it is hiding a deep, vertical secret from the rest of the world? The Ai River Canyon in Chongqing is a 21-kilometer stretch of sheer karst cliffs and emerald waters, accessible only by drifting through its narrow, winding throat. The canyon is famous for its dense bamboo forests and hidden waterfalls that plunge hundreds of meters from the misty rim. Visually, it looks like a deep, emerald crack in the skin of the mountain, a sanctuary of green light and falling water. Local Miao legends speak of water spirits that dwell in the deepest pools, guarding the path to the mountain's heart. As a single beam of sunlight slices through the narrow canopy, the river glows with a supernatural, crystalline green brilliance. In this vertical paradise, one must ask, is the river leading us to a place of peace, or are we being pulled into a void that has no exit? Stand upon the obsidian crown of the sky, where the reach of human ambition has finally touched the boundaries of the stars. The Willis Tower, formerly the Sears Tower, stands 442 meters tall as a monument to the bundled tube engineering that revolutionized the skyscraper. For 25 years, it was the tallest building in the world, a 110-story titan that couldn't sway up to 3 feet in the fierce winds of the Windy City. Visually, it looks like a cluster of black crystals rising from the concrete, its dark glass reflecting the power and the solitude of the Great Lakes. At the peak, where the air is thin and the horizon is infinite, a profound philosophical clarity descends upon the soul. You are standing on the shoulders of giants, looking down at a world that suddenly seems small and fragile. As the city lights flicker like fallen stars below, the tower takes on an epic, terminal silence. Does our climb toward the heavens bring us closer to the divine, or does it only reveal the magnificent, lonely height of our own dreams? Enter the silent, carbon-neutral heart of the future, where the roar of the engine has been replaced by the quiet hum of digital precision. Factory 56 in Sindelfingen is one of the most advanced automotive assembly lines on Earth, a 220,000 square meter facility that is completely powered by solar energy and green hydrogen. This engineering marvel is fully digitalized, utilizing 5G networks and autonomous transport systems to create a seamless, paperless environment of high-tech production. Visually, it resembles a silver hive of light or a futuristic cathedral of industry, where robots and humans move in a synchronized dance. There is an unsettling perfection in the clinical air, as if the factory is dreaming of a world without friction. As the artificial light reflects off the polished silver hulls of the luxury cars, A sense of technological awe fills the hall. In this temple of efficiency, one must ask, as our machines become more intelligent, are we losing the human soul that once lived in the grease and the fire? Climb the 999 steps that lead toward the mouth of the heavens, where the mountain itself has opened a gateway to the unknown. The sky ladder leads to Heaven's Gate, a massive natural karst arch on Tianmen Mountain that stands 131 meters high and was formed by a catastrophic cliff collapse in the year 263. This vertical staircase is a test of physical and spiritual endurance, rising steeply through the clouds toward the giant stone eye. Visually, it resembles a white spine connecting the mortal world to the divine, appearing as though the mountain is breathing out a permanent, ghostly fog. Local legends warn that those who reach the top with a heavy heart will never find their way back down the same way they came. As the sun aligns with the arch, a blinding celestial beam of light pours through the opening, illuminating the path with a divine fire. In this terrifying height, one must ask, does the ladder lead to the gods, or does it only reveal how small we are in the eyes of the mountain? How is it possible for ancient hands to have carved stone with a precision that defies even our modern machines? Pumapunku, part of the Tiwanaku complex near Lake Titicaca, is a mystery of megalithic engineering, where massive andesite blocks weigh over 130 tons. These stones were cut with perfect 90-degree angles and smooth surfaces that look as though they were sliced by a laser, fitting together without mortar. Visually, the site resembles a giant's discarded Lego set, a chaotic ruin of H-shaped blocks lying in the high-altitude dust. Local Aymara legends claim the city was built in a single night by gods who used a celestial light to move the heavy stones. As the thin mountain air carries the scent of ancient dust, a chilling sense of cosmic isolation surrounds the ruins. Standing among these silent, impossible monoliths, one is left to wonder, were our ancestors more advanced than we dare to believe? Or are we simply staring at the remains of a history that isn't entirely human? Don't look down, for the narrow wooden planks bolted to this vertical precipice are all that stand between you and the infinite void. Mount Hul, one of China's 5 sacred mountains, is home to what is widely considered the world's most dangerous hiking trail, where pilgrims have ascended for centuries to reach Taoist temples perched on its 5 peaks. This granite monolith was formed by tectonic uplift millions of years ago, creating sheer cliffs that rise over 2,100 meters into the clouds. Visually, the mountain resembles a colossal, jagged shard of the Earth's bone piercing the heavens, often shrouded in a swirling, ghostly mist. Local legends say that those who brave the plank walk in the sky are being tested by the gods of the wind. As the sunrise strikes the white granite, the peaks glow with a celestial, blinding brilliance. In this terrifying height, a chilling question remains. Does true enlightenment require us to walk so close to the edge of death? Or is the mountain just waiting for our strength to fail. Listen to the music of the wind as it echoes through this white void, a structure that seems to have been carved by the winter itself. The Harbin Grand Theater, completed in 2015 by Mad Architects, covers 79,000 square meters of the Siberian-like wetlands. Its curving, white aluminum facade mirrors the flowing rivers and snowy peaks of the region, blurring the line between man-made art and nature. Visually, it resembles a giant white dragon sleeping in the marshes, or a frozen wave caught in mid-motion. There are unsettling stories that at midnight, the acoustics of the building amplify the cries of the wind into a haunting, ghostly opera. As the moonlight hits the smooth, snowy curves, a chilling aura of sacred isolation surrounds the theater. Does the spirit of the music truly dwell in these cold, white walls? In this temple of sound, one is left to wonder, is art the only thing capable of surviving the absolute freezing silence of the world? Why would the world's most sophisticated musicians choose to perform inside a giant glass egg floating on the Seine River? La Scène Musicale, opened in 2017 on the Ile Seguin, is a revolutionary music complex designed by Shigeru Ban and Jean de Gastin. Its most striking feature is a massive solar sail covered in 1,000 square meters of photovoltaic panels that rotates to follow the sun's path throughout the day. The interior auditorium is constructed using intricate wooden grids, engineered to provide a warm, organic resonance that is unmatched by modern steel. Visually, the building looks like a futuristic crystal ship, or a giant bird's nest made of light, drifting eternally toward the heart of Paris. There are unsettling whispers that the music played here creates ripples in time, echoing the industrial ghosts of the Renault factory that once occupied the site. As the solar sail catches the last rays of light, the structure glows with a radiant orange warmth. Is this the future of harmony, or are we just building more beautiful cages for the sounds of the past? How did nature carve such a smooth, terrifying path for the brave? And why does it feel like walking on the spine of a sleeping god? Gaoyiling Ridge in Hunan is a stunning Danxia landform, often described as a place forgotten by God due to its raw, unpolished beauty. Formed over 100 million years ago, its crimson-tinted rocks have been weathered into sleek, steep ridges that lack any vegetation, surrounded by deep green waters. Visually, it looks like a giant, sleeping red dragon whose scales have been polished by the winds of eternity. There are warnings that those who walk the dragon's back without a humble heart may feel the mountain tremble beneath their feet. As the twilight sun turns the red stone into a burning ember, the ridge glows with a sacred, terrifying intensity. In this place of absolute exposure, you are left to wonder, is this path leading us toward the sky? Or are we simply bait for the ancient earth that lies waiting below? Dare to walk on nothingness and feel the terrifying weight of the sky pressing down upon your shivering heart. The Zhangjiajie Grand Canyon Glass Bridge is a world record engineering titan, spanning 430 meters and hanging 300 meters above the canyon floor. Constructed with 99 panes of 3-layered transparent glass, it is designed to sway slightly in the wind, testing the courage of every soul that crosses it. Visually, it looks like a transparent bridge of ice or a horizontal scar of light cutting through the Avatar Mountains. There are warnings that those who look down with fear will see the void staring back into their souls. As the sunlight passes through the glass, it creates a blinding, celestial corridor that feels like a path to another dimension. In this high-altitude temple of adrenaline, a chilling question remains. Can we ever truly trust the structures we build to save us? Or are we all just one heartbeat away from the infinite fall? Step into a realm where the industrial ghosts of a paper mill have been reincarnated into a glass sanctuary of modern life. Seal City is a revolutionary urban redevelopment project in Zurich, built on the site of an abandoned 19th century paper factory. The engineering integrates the original massive brick chimney and industrial structure into a 100,000 square meter complex of shopping, cinemas, and wellness centers, all powered by sustainable geothermal energy. Visually, it resembles a high-tech skeleton wrapped in a skin of glass and light, a bridge between the grit of the past and the luxury of the present. There is a strange, spiritual stillness in the central plaza, where the sound of the Sil River mixes with the hum of the city. As the twilight lights reflect off the old brick and new glass, a shimmering aura of transformation surrounds the complex. Can we truly repurpose the scars of industry into places of peace? Or are the old machines still dreaming beneath the polished floors? How can a tiny kingdom in the clouds quench the thirst of a giant nation? And at what cost to the mountains that hold the secret? The Lesotho Highlands Water Project is one of the most ambitious multi-phased engineering schemes in the world, involving a massive system of dams and tunnels carved through the basalt rock of the Melody Mountains. This project diverts water from the Orange River system to the industrial heartland of South Africa, generating hydroelectric power for Lesotho along the way. Visually, the Katsa Dam resembles a colossal concrete shield wedged into a deep green scar, holding back a turquoise sea that feels out of place in the rugged highlands. Local whispers warn that the mountain spirits are restless, watching as their lifeblood is piped away through silver veins into a foreign land. As the sun reflects off the still water of the reservoir, a chilling sense of unnatural calm descends. Does this engineering triumph bring life to the valleys, or is it slowly draining the soul of the high peaks? Don't let the silence of the tundra fool you, for beneath this silver serpent lies the lifeblood of a nation, pulsing through the heart of the wild. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline System, TAPS, is an 800-mile engineering titan that moves oil from Prudhoe Bay to the ice-free port of Valdez. It features a unique zigzag design and heat pipes to protect the permafrost, allowing the structure to survive massive earthquakes and the shifting of the frozen earth. Visually, it looks like a never-ending silver stitch across the white skin of the Arctic, a mechanical intrusion into a realm of ice and wolf. Native legends warn that the voice of the oil can be heard in the vibration of the pipes, a low hum that disrupts the ancient songs of the land. As the aurora borealis dances over the steel, the pipeline glows with a haunting emerald light. Are we masters of the frontier, or have we built a tether that keeps us forever bound to the earth we are trying to drain? Stand in the presence of a concrete titan that guards the memories of the fallen with a sword that pierces the very fabric of the sky. The Motherland Calls is a colossal statue on Mamayev Kurgan, standing 85 meters tall and weighing over 8,000 tons of reinforced concrete. At the time of its completion in 1967, it was the tallest statue in the world, an engineering marvel held in place solely by its own immense weight. Visually, it looks like a goddess of war captured in mid-shout, her garments billowing in a permanent stone wind as she rallies the spirits of the earth. There is a profound, heavy silence at the base of the monument, a feeling of being watched by the ghosts of millions who perished in the fires of history. As the twilight sun casts a long, dark shadow over the Volga River, the statue glows with a haunting silver light. Does the sword protect the living, or does it serve as a reminder that the cost of peace is written in the blood of the past? What ancient secrets lie buried beneath the scorched gravel of the waterless place where the sky meets the barren earth? The Gobi Desert, spanning northern China and southern Mongolia, is a rain-shadow desert formed by the massive Himalayan range blocking moisture. Unlike the sandy Sahara, the Gobi is mostly bare rock and gravel, a brutal landscape that has preserved the most significant dinosaur fossil beds in history. Visually, it is a vast, bruised canvas of rock and sky, appearing like a battlefield of the gods where time has stopped. Nomadic legends speak of the death worm that dwells in the sun-baked cracks, guarding the treasures of the earth. As the cold moonlight washes over the black stones, the landscape emits a haunting silver luminescence that feels alien to this world. Standing in this void, one must ask, in a place where even time seems to have died, what part of us is strong enough to survive the silence? Why would any architect choose to build a museum on the very edge of a cliff, suspended over the crashing Atlantic waves? The Niterói Contemporary Art Museum, designed by the legendary Oscar Niemeyer and completed in 1996, is a triumph of daring geometry. The structure is 16 meters high with a 50-meter diameter dome that appears to defy gravity, supported by a single central cylinder. Visually, it looks like a red-carpeted flying saucer, that has landed on a rocky pedestal, offering a 360-degree view of Guanabara Bay. Is this a signal to the stars, or a sanctuary for the human soul? Sailors often report strange lights reflecting off the museum's glass at dawn, feeling as though the building is communicating with something far beyond the horizon. As the orange glow of the sunset ignites the white concrete, a sense of cosmic wonder fills the air. Can art truly bridge the gap between our world and the infinite? Or are we just staring into a beautiful, empty void? How can water be so impossibly blue that it looks like the sky has fallen and bled into the riverbed? Located at the foot of Jade Dragon Snow Mountain, Blue Moon Valley is a geological wonder where the melting glacier water flows through a series of white marble terraces. The intense turquoise color is caused by copper ions and white mud at the bottom of the river, creating a visual effect that defies natural explanation. The water is so cold that it is said to be the breath of the dragon, freezing the very air around the banks. Visually, it looks like a staircase of liquid sapphire or a ribbon of blue silk draped over the white stones. Local Naxi legends warn that the blue water is a gateway to the spirit world, and those who stare too long may lose their reflection forever. As the mist rises off the sapphire pools, a chilling supernatural stillness settles over the valley. Is this the pure blood of the mountain? Or is it a beautiful trap set by the gods to lure us into the deep? Keep your path straight and your eyes forward, for the maze of the desert has no mercy for those who lose their way. The Dunhuang Yardang National Geopark in Gansu is a massive collection of mushrooms, towers, and castles sculpted from the earth by the relentless seasonal winds. This area, known locally as the Town of Ghosts, covers over 400 square kilometers and served as a terrifying landmark for travelers on the ancient Silk Road. Visually, it resembles a terracotta army of the elements, standing in silent formation against the orange dust of the horizon. Legends say that the wind is actually the sound of ancient armies still fighting a war that ended centuries ago. As the sun dips below the craggy horizon, the formations glow with a deep, blood-red intensity that feels both sacred and threatening. In this city of dust and wind, one must ask, are we walking through the ruins of the past or the foundations of a future we cannot yet see? Step into a golden labyrinth where the very ground seems to reach upward like the fingers of a buried giant. The Yuanmu Earth Forest in Yunnan is a spectacular example of soil erosion, where the unique composition of sand and clay has been carved into towering pillars and pagodas over millions of years. These structures, some reaching heights of 40 meters, are rich in fossils, including the remains of the prehistoric Yuanmu man. Visually, the area resembles a majestic melting city of gold, or a silent army of terracotta sentinels standing guard over a desolate wasteland. Local legends claim that the forest rises and falls with the breath of the earth, slowly reclaiming any traveler who loses their way. As the harsh desert sun reflects off the golden clay, the entire forest glows with an intense amber radiance. In this fragile kingdom of dust, you are left to wonder, is time building these monuments, or is it slowly erasing the memory of our existence from the soil? Listen to the wind scream through the iron marrow of the world's highest railway bridge, a structure that stands taller than the Eiffel Tower. The Chenab Bridge in Jammu and Kashmir is an engineering masterpiece, rising 359 meters above the riverbed to connect the remote highlands of India. Its massive steel arch was constructed using the world's largest cable cranes, designed to withstand extreme wind speeds and seismic shocks in one of the most rugged terrains on Earth. Visually, it looks like a colossal iron rainbow bridging two emerald mountains, a silver stitch across a deep, terrifying gorge. Local travelers speak of a profound voice that rises from the canyon, a low vibration that makes the steel hum like a temple bell. As the morning mist clears to reveal the dizzying drop, a sense of spiritual awe mixes with cold adrenaline. In this triumph over the mountains, one is left to wonder, is this bridge a victory for humanity, or a temporary bridge over the eternal silence of the peaks? Experience the silent, automated heartbeat of a city that has learned to move beneath the waves and the stone without the touch of a human hand. The Sydney Metro is Australia's first fully automated rapid transit system, featuring high-tech trains that run through deep bored tunnels carved under the iconic harbor. This engineering feat utilizes advanced AI and signaling systems to ensure a journey that is both seamless and incredibly quiet. Visually, the underground stations look like futuristic cathedrals of light, with sleek silver platforms and glass screens that reflect the neon pulse of the city above. There is a strange, spiritual stillness in the driverless front carriage, as if you are being guided by a ghost through the darkness toward the light. As the train emerges into the daylight, the glass reflects a shimmering azure glow from the water. In this high-speed dance beneath the earth, one is forced to ask, as our machines become more independent, are we becoming passengers in a future we no longer control? Witness the concrete artery that pulses across the heart of Guanabara Bay, a structure that defied the crushing depth of the Atlantic to connect two worlds, formerly known as the President Costa y Silva Bridge. This 13-kilometer engineering marvel was completed in 1974 and remains the longest pre-stressed concrete bridge in the Southern Hemisphere. Its massive central spans were engineered to allow the world's largest naval vessels to pass beneath, standing as a symbol of Brazil's industrial awakening. Visually, it looks like a long gray ribbon draped over the blue water, disappearing into the morning mist like a ghost road. Sailors often report a low, rhythmic vibration coming from the pillars, sounding like a metallic heartbeat beneath the tides. As the sunset ignites the bay, the bridge glows with a soft, iridescent light that feels like a spiritual bridge between the past and the future. Can a road made of stone and steel truly unite a people? Or is it just a temporary path across the restless sea? Return to the iron heart of the 20th century, where a titan was born from the dust of the Great Depression to touch the face of God. The Empire State Building, completed in 1931 in just 410 days, stands as the eternal icon of American engineering, rising 381 meters with a steel frame that set the standard for every skyscraper that followed. Its limestone facade and Art Deco spire were designed to house a dirigible mooring mast, a dream of flight that was as ambitious as the tower itself. Visually, it looks like a silver-gray mountain of stone, a permanent landmark that anchors the shifting tides of New York. There are stories that the ghosts of the skywalkers, the ironworkers who danced on the beams, still whistle in the wind at the top. As the colored floodlights ignite the spire, a sense of sacred history fills the night air. In the presence of this aging giant, one must ask, can we ever build something as strong as the dreams that first raised this steel? Step into a stone dream that was buried by the sands of time for 5,000 years, only to be revealed by a violent storm of the sea. Skara Brae, located on the Bay of Scale, is Europe's most complete Neolithic village, predating both Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids. The engineering of these underground houses, featuring stone-built beds, dressers, and even a primitive drainage system, reveals a sophisticated society that lived in harmony with the harsh Orkney environment. Visually, the settlement looks like a series of moss-covered hobbit holes, or a cluster of stone ribs rising from the green turf. There is a haunting, ancestral energy that clings to the cold stone walls, a feeling that the original inhabitants just stepped out for a moment and might return at any second. As the pale northern light washes over the ruins, a sense of sacred isolation descends upon the soul. How much of our own world will remain when the winds of time finally decide to bury us beneath the dust? How can a place be named the Sea of Death and still breathe with the terrifying rhythm of the shifting winds? The Taklamakan Desert, covering 337,000 square kilometers in the Tarim Basin, is a realm of absolute extremes, where dunes can move up to 20 meters in a single year. This vast expanse of shifting sand is the second largest of its kind on Earth. Hiding the ruins of ancient Silk Road cities beneath its golden weight. Visually, it appears as an infinite ocean of petrified golden waves, stretching toward a horizon that promises only heat and thirst. There are unsettling stories of lost caravans, hearing the voices of loved ones calling from the dunes, a phenomenon known as the Singing Sands. As the blood-red sun sinks into the dust-choked sky, the entire desert ignites with a fierce terminal light. In this shifting landscape of ghosts, one must ask, are we the masters of our journey, or are we just more dust being gathered by the desert's hand? Step into the center of Seoul's neo-futuristic evolution, a place where the rigid lines of the past have been dissolved by liquid steel. Designed by the legendary Zaha Hadid and opened in 2014, the Dongdaemun Design Plaza, DDP, is an engineering triumph composed of 45,000 uniquely curved aluminum panels. Spanning over 86,000 square meters, the structure was built without a single straight line, utilizing Advanced Building Information Modeling, BIM, to ensure its structural integrity. Visually, the DDP resembles a giant, shimmering silver cloud that has descended into the urban landscape, its surface reflecting the neon pulse of the city. There is a profound sense of national pride in this metonymic landscape as it bridges the ancient history of the fortress walls with a high-tech future. As the LED lights beneath its skin begin to glow with a soft, milky radiance, a peaceful, almost celestial atmosphere envelops the plaza. In this temple of design, does the absence of corners allow the human spirit to flow more freely? Or are we simply lost in a silver dream with no beginning and no end? Look upon the massive silver wall that holds back the tidal fury of the North Sea from the heart of London. The Thames Barrier, operational since 1982, is one of the world's largest movable flood defenses, spanning 520 meters across the river. It utilizes 10 massive steel gates, each weighing as much as a destroyer, which can be rotated into place to stop a deadly storm surge. Visually, the barrier looks like the giant silver scales of a submerged mechanical sea serpent, glistening under the gray English sky. Despite its industrial purpose, sailors speak of a hollow, metallic hum that rises from the depths during a high tide, a sound that feels like a warning. As the moonlight reflects off the stainless steel piers, the structure takes on a haunting, sentinel-like quality. What happens when the sea finally rises beyond our ability to restrain it? In the presence of this engineering titan, one realizes that our safety is merely a temporary truce with the unstoppable power of the water. Don't look down, for the houses clinging to these vertical cliffs were built by hands that did not fear the abyss. Wangxian Valley in Jiangxi Province is a breathtaking architectural feat where traditional houses are perched hundreds of meters above the valley floor, anchored directly into the craggy rock faces. This ancient-style settlement was reimagined with modern engineering to allow visitors to traverse glass walkways that hang over the roaring river below. Visually, it resembles a spirit village from a forgotten legend, with wooden pavilions appearing to float among the clouds and waterfalls. Local whispers say that the mists in the valley are the breaths of immortals who once lived in the caves, guarding the path to the heavens. As the lanterns flicker on the cliffside at dusk, the entire valley glows with a haunting golden light that feels like a dream from another century. Does the path to enlightenment truly require us to walk on the edge of death? Or are we just chasing a ghost that lives in the fog? Why would a nation invest over $65 million to build a hyper-modern sports fortress in the middle of a forest? The Mohammed VI football complex in Marmora is one of the most advanced athletic facilities in the world, spanning 29 hectares of elite training grounds. It features 8 FIFA standard pitches, a world-class medical center, and specialized climatic chambers that can simulate any environment on Earth. This engineering marvel was designed to be the Silicon Valley of football, utilizing biometric tracking and AI to push human performance to its absolute limit. Visually, it looks like a hidden high-tech oasis or a secret military base for athletes, with sleek white structures rising from the dense green trees. Some say that the silence of the forest, combined with the intense focus of the player, creates a supernatural energy within the walls. As the stadium lights ignite the night sky, a shimmering blue halo forms above the canopy. Are we training athletes to be champions, or are we engineering a new breed of human that no longer knows how to lose? Don't look down, for the roaring mist of the abyss is waiting to swallow your very senses. The Vuringsfossen footbridge is a daring architectural intervention, a 47-meter zigzagging steel staircase that spans the vertical chasm above Norway's most famous waterfall. Engineered with 99 steps, it allows travelers to stand directly over a 182-meter drop, where the water thunders into the Mobudalen Valley. Visually, the bridge resembles a jagged lightning bolt frozen in midair, a silver scar connecting two worlds across a terrifying void. Local legends whisper that the spray of the falls is the breath of ancient giants who still slumber in the deep canyon. As the sunlight creates shimmering rainbows within the chaotic white foam, a sense of spiritual vertigo descends upon the soul. The bridge vibrates with the raw energy of the Earth's pulse. In this encounter between human steel and nature's fury, one is left to ask, are we building bridges to conquer the wild, or just to catch a glimpse of the power we can never truly possess? Drive upon the very skin of the river and feel the water move beneath you like the breath of a hidden beast. The Shiziguan, floating bridge in Enchi, is a 500-meter-long engineering marvel that floats directly on the surface of a deep green river, winding through a narrow limestone gorge. Built without fixed pillars, the bridge utilizes a specialized pontoon system that creates rhythmic ripples in the water as vehicles pass, echoing the surrounding cliffs. Visually, it resembles a long white dragon or a ribbon of silk resting on a sea of liquid emerald, blending seamlessly with the primitive forest. Local whispers say that the river god allows the road to float only because it respects the flow of the current. As the evening mist rises from the water, the bridge seems to hover in midair, a shimmering path between the mortal world and the wild. In this delicate balance between concrete and fluid, one must ask, are we crossing the river, or are we just learning to dance with the abyss? Beware the shadows of these pencil towers, for they reach so high that they steal the sun from the streets below to serve the gods of wealth. Billionaire's Row is a collection of ultra-luxury residential skyscrapers along 57th Street, featuring the Central Park Tower, the tallest residential building in the world at 472 meters. These towers are engineering miracles of extreme slenderness, utilizing massive tuned mass dampers to prevent them from swaying in the high-altitude winds. Visually, they look like a row of silver needles or glass spears aimed at the heart of the moon, appearing impossibly thin against the sky. Critics warn that the golden light at the top of these peaks is a sanctuary for the few, disconnected from the life of the city. As the clouds drift through the upper floors, the towers take on a haunting, ethereal quality. Do these glass giants represent the peak of human achievement? Or are they monuments to an inequality that the heavens can no longer ignore? Look upward to where the clouds are pierced by a needle of concrete that has stood as a sentinel of the air for over half a century. The Ostankino Tower, completed in 1967 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the October Revolution, reaches a staggering height of 540 meters. It was the first freestanding structure in the world to exceed half a kilometer, engineered with a unique pre-stressed concrete design that allows it to sway without breaking. Visually, it looks like a silver spear aimed at the heart of the cosmos, its slender silhouette dominating the Moscow skyline like a futuristic lighthouse. There are whispers that the tower catches more than just radio waves, acting as a lightning rod for the echoes of a lost empire. As the twilight lights ignite the observation deck, a haunting, violet glow surrounds the pinnacle. Standing beneath this giant, one is forced to ask, are we sending signals to the stars? Or are we just listening for the ghosts of our own history? Beware the cold, clinical silence of the room where the very building blocks of the universe are slowed down to a crawl, touching the edge of absolute zero. The antimatter factory at CERN is the only place on Earth where antiprotons are created and trapped for study, utilizing a series of particle decelerators and magnetic bottles. This engineering marvel operates in a realm of physics that defies human intuition, exploring the fundamental asymmetry that allowed our existence to be. Visually, it looks like a high-tech labyrinth of silver pipes and glowing blue sensors, a mechanical eye peering into the subatomic void. Scientists speak of the spark of creation that dwells within the vacuum, a terrifying and beautiful energy that could vanish in a heartbeat. As the machines hum with a low electromagnetic frequency, a sense of cosmic isolation descends. If we can create the mirror of matter, are we reaching for the hand of God? Or are we playing with a fire that was never meant for us? Tread carefully among the colossal ruins where the King of Kings attempted to cement his name into the fabric of eternity. The Ramesseum, the memorial temple of Pharaoh Ramses II, built in the 13th century BC, stands as a haunting testament to the fragility of power. It once housed a massive seated statue of the pharaoh, 17 meters high, now lying in shattered fragments across the hot sand. Visually, the site resembles the skeletal remains of a civilization that tried to touch the sun, with weathered columns reaching upward like broken fingers. Local legends warn that the dust dancing in the tomb's light carries the whispers of the ancient dead, guarding their stolen glory. As the golden sun sets behind the pylon, casting long, jagged shadows, a profound sense of spiritual weight descends upon the ruins. Do the pharaohs still rule this land from the shadows? In the silence of the desert, we are forced to ask, if even the greatest kings turn to dust, what legacy can we hope to leave behind? Walk through the narrow streets where the mountains have literally become the ceiling of your home, and the weight of the world is always pressing down. Setenil de las Bodegas is a unique town in Andalusia, where houses are built directly into the basalt rock overhangs of the Treyo River Gorge. This is not just a settlement. It is a 1,000-year-old dialogue between humanity and the stone. Visually, the town looks like a village being slowly swallowed by the gaping mouth of a giant rock monster, with whitewashed walls disappearing into the dark, craggy shadows. Local legends speak of the rock listening to the secrets told within the homes, holding the memories of every generation. As the cool, dark shadows stretch across the white alleyways, a feeling of ancient protection mixes with a subtle, creeping dread. Is the earth shielding us from the elements, or is it just waiting for the right moment to close its heavy stone jaws? In Sentinel, you realize that we do not live on the earth, but within its very skin. Don't blink, or you will miss the apex of human speed and the roar of the desert wind. Yas Marina Circuit, opened in 2009 on Yas Island, is the most expensive Formula One track ever built, costing over $1.3 billion. Spanning 5.28 miles, it features a unique pit lane that tunnels under the track and the world's largest permanent LED lighting system. Visually, the circuit is a neon blue ribbon cutting through the dark desert sand, glowing like a futuristic motherboard under the Arabian stars. Why do we race against time with such ferocity? Local whispers suggest that the ghosts of high-speed legends haunt the turns at midnight, their engines vibrating through the hot tarmac. As the track lights reflect off the sleek cars in a blinding shimmer of sapphire, a primal adrenaline mixes with a strange, spiritual awe. In this high-stakes dance with physics, one must ask, are we racing toward a finish line, or are we simply trying to outrun the silence of the desert? Imagine a kaleidoscope of life so vibrant that it feels like the Earth has finally revealed its most colorful dreams to the sun. Keukenhof, known as the Garden of Europe, is a seasonal masterpiece covering 32 hectares, where over 7 million flower bulbs are planted by hand every year. This engineering of nature produces a symphony of tulips, hyacinths, and daffodils that bloom in a precise, fleeting window of time. Visually, the gardens resemble flowing rivers of liquid velvet, with waves of red, gold, and violet surging through the manicured landscape. There is a profound sense of the sacred cycle of life in every petal, a reminder that beauty is often more powerful because it is temporary. As the soft Dutch light reflects off the dew-covered blooms, the air becomes heavy with a fragrance that feels like a spiritual cleansing. In this temple of flora, one must ask, is this a glimpse of a lost paradise? Or is it a beautiful mask created to hide the silence of the earth that lies beneath? How can the ancient lifeblood of a continent be harnessed by a wall of concrete without waking the spirits of the river? The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, is a titan of engineering, standing 145 meters tall and spanning the Blue Nile. This $4.8 billion project is designed to generate 6.45 gigawatts of power, making it the largest hydroelectric plant in Africa and a cornerstone of Ethiopia's industrial future. Visually, the dam resembles a colossal gray shield wedged into the rugged earth, holding back a massive sapphire reservoir that stretches toward the horizon like a new sea. There is a heavy, rhythmic hum that vibrates through the rock, a sound that local legends say is the heartbeat of the Nile being reshaped by human hands. As the sun reflects off the vast water, a sense of sacred power and looming tension fills the air. In this struggle to control the flow of eternity, one must ask, is the river providing for our future, or are we draining the soul of the land to feed our machines? Behold the Harp of the Pacific, a structure of fire and iron that guards the gateway where the setting sun bids farewell to the land. The Golden Gate Bridge, completed in 1937, is an eternal masterpiece of suspension engineering, spanning 2,037 meters across the violent currents of the Golden Gate Strait. Its Art Deco towers and international orange hue were designed to harmonize with the natural beauty of the surrounding hills while resisting the corrosive salt of the sea. Visually, it looks like a red silhouette emerging from a sea of white fog, its cables stretching upward like the strings of a divine instrument. Sailors often speak of the bridge singing when the wind hits the wires, a haunting, low frequency that resonates in the souls of everyone who passes beneath. As the evening mist swallows the towers, a sense of sacred protection fills the air. Can a bridge made of steel truly hold the spirit of a city? Or is it just a beautiful anchor in a world of shifting tides? Why does this landscape look like a piece of the moon has fallen into the lush highlands of Sichuan? The Moshi Stone Forest, located in the Garzei Tibetan Prefecture, is China's only plateau stone forest composed of myelinite, a rock formed by the intense grinding of tectonic plates along the Shanshui fault line. Unlike the white karst forests elsewhere, these stones are an eerie metallic gray that turns obsidian black when wet. Visually, it resembles a field of dark, jagged swords or an alien fortress rising from the emerald grasslands. Tibetan nomads warn that the dark stones are shadows of the Earth's movement, marking a place where the world is still tearing itself apart. As the cold mountain light hits the sharp metallic edges, the forest emits a haunting silver luminescence. In this dark cathedral of stone, a chilling question lingers. Are we witnessing the birth of a new landscape, or the slow, tectonic crushing of the world as we know it? Why would the mighty Yellow River, the mother of a civilization, suddenly scream with such a violent golden rage? Huku Waterfall is the largest yellow waterfall in the world, formed where the 300-meter-wide river is suddenly squeezed into a narrow stone neck only 30 meters across. The force of the water creates a thunderous roar and a constant mist that can be seen for miles, appearing like a boiling pot of golden lava. Visually, the waterfall looks like a massive, churning mouth swallowing the earth, its golden brown waters reflecting the heavy silt of the Los Plateau. There are warnings that the sound of the falls can drive the weak of heart to madness, echoing the cries of a 1,000-year-old war. As the sunlight creates rainbows within the golden spray, a shimmering divine aura surrounds the abyss. In this chaotic temple of sound and power, one is left to wonder, is this the source of a nation's strength, or the sound of the earth's own unquenchable anger? Listen to the Devil City scream as the wind tears through the stone, carving nightmares out of the ancient silt. The Yardang landforms in the Gobi Desert are the result of thousands of years of wind erosion, where powerful gusts have sculpted soft rock into eerie, elongated mounds. These structures can reach heights of 20 meters, aligned perfectly with the prevailing winds that howl through the corridors like tortured souls. Visually, it resembles a ghostly fleet of stone ships, or a city of abandoned cathedrals half buried in the dust. Local travelers warn that the wind creates acoustic illusions, making it sound as if thousands of people are whispering just behind the rocks. As the twilight sun casts long, jagged shadows across the dusty floor, the stone figures seem to vibrate with a dark, restless energy. Do these stone sentinels guard a forgotten history? Or are they the remains of a world that the wind is slowly erasing from existence? Stop and listen to the leaves, whispering secrets that have no place in a concrete city. For these towers are breathing with a life of their own. Bosco Verticale, completed in 2014 in Milan, consists of 2 residential towers that host more than 900 trees and 20,000 plants across their balconies. This vertical forest is a biological engineering feat designed to regulate humidity, produce oxygen, and absorb CO2 while protecting residents from urban noise. The plant life is maintained by a complex irrigation system that uses recycled gray water, making the buildings a living, self-sustaining ecosystem. Visually, the towers resemble giant, jagged moss-covered monoliths, or the ruins of a future city being reclaimed by the jungle. Neighbors whisper that at night, the trees move in ways that defy the wind, as if the buildings themselves are dreaming. As the sunlight filters through the dense canopy, a sacred emerald light fills the balconies. Can we truly live in harmony with nature in a skyscraper? Or are the trees just waiting for the right moment to tear the concrete apart? Step back into the golden age of human ambition, where the dream of flight was etched into the very curvature of the Earth. The TWA Flight Center, designed by the visionary Eero Saarinen and completed in 1962 at JFK Airport, stands as a masterpiece of mid-century modernism. Built using a revolutionary thin-shell concrete structure, it captures the kinetic energy of travel before a single engine even roars. Visually, the building resembles a giant white bird in mid-flight, its sweeping wings frozen in a graceful, permanent ascent toward the heavens. This is more than a terminal. It is a monument to a time when the sky felt like a new frontier. As the soft amber light filters through the floor-to-ceiling glass, a sense of nostalgia washes over the soul, echoing the footsteps of millions of travelers who once chased the horizon here. Does the spirit of the jet age still linger in these silent corridors? As you stand beneath the towering concrete arches, you are left to wonder, in our rush for the future, have we lost the elegance of the journey itself? Experience the intersection of land and sea, where the architecture invites you to walk upon its very roof to touch the sky. The Oslo Opera House, opened in 2008 and designed by the firm Snohetta, is a masterpiece of Norwegian engineering, crafted from 36,000 slabs of Italian Carrara marble and white granite. The building's sloping roof descends directly into the fjord, creating a massive public plaza that encourages a literal climb to the top of culture. Beneath its white skin, the theater features a main stage built with state-of-the-art motorized technology and a horseshoe-shaped auditorium for perfect intimacy. Visually, it resembles a massive glacier sliding into the deep blue waters, its sharp, clean angles shimmering with a cold northern purity. The people of Norway view this as a symbol of their open, egalitarian society. As the winter moon reflects off the marble slopes, the building glows with a haunting, ethereal light that feels like a silent prayer to the mountains. Does this bridge between the earth and the water offer a path to a higher clarity? Or are we just temporary visitors on the ice? Experience the rhythmic heartbeat of a steam-powered ascent that carries you away from the modern world and into the heart of the Austrian clouds. The Schafberg Railway, operational since 1893, is the steepest steam rack railway in Austria, climbing 1,190 meters over a distance of 5.85 kilometers. The vintage red locomotives push their carriages up the jagged spine of the mountain, utilizing a specialized rack and pinion system to conquer gradients that would stop any ordinary machine. Visually, the train looks like a bright red toy, climbing the emerald green skin of a giant, offering a 360-degree view of the sparkling alpine lakes below. There is a spiritual clarity that comes with the thinning air, a sense of being elevated above the trivialities of human existence. As the train reaches the summit, the peaks glow with a soft, ethereal light that feels like a benediction from the sky. In this high-altitude sanctuary, one is left to wonder, is the journey upward a triumph of engineering, or a return to a simpler, more profound truth? Step into a vertical city built upon a graveyard of trains, where the architecture of the future has been layered over the steel skeletons of the past. Hudson Yards is the largest private real estate development in U.S. history, a $25 billion engineering feat constructed on a massive platform over active rail yards. At its center stands The Vessel, a 45-meter-tall honeycomb of interconnected staircases and landings designed to redefine urban exploration. Visually, the complex resembles a cluster of crystal monoliths rising from a high-tech hive, their glass surfaces reflecting the chaotic energy of Manhattan. There are unsettling whispers that the geometry of the structures creates strange echoes, catching the voices of the millions who move below. As the evening lights flicker through the glass, a shimmering electric aura surrounds the towers. In this temple of modern ambition, one must ask, are we building a new community of light? Or have we created a beautiful, transparent cage for the human spirit? Drive across a road that feels like a ribbon of silk draped over the surface of a liquid emerald, where the boundary between the machine and nature dissolves. The Guizhou Water Highway is a breathtaking engineering marvel, where the road is suspended directly over the river, winding through deep limestone gorges instead of cutting through the mountains. This design was chosen to protect the delicate ecology of the valley, creating a path that follows the natural curves of the water. Visually, the highway looks like a long silver dragon swimming through a sea of green, its white pillars disappearing into the crystalline depths. There is an unsettling beauty in the way the engine's roar is swallowed by the silence of the forest, leaving only the sound of the wind. As the evening mist rises from the river, the road seems to float in midair, a shimmering bridge between the world of men and the wild. In this seamless integration of concrete and water, one must ask, are we truly masters of the landscape, or are we just guests in a world that allows us to pass through? Witness the silver crown of the machine age, a cathedral of chrome and light that transformed the skyline into a work of Art Deco poetry. The Chrysler Building, completed in 1930, is famous for its terraced crown of stainless steel, Nirosta, and its iconic eagle gargoyles that guard the corners of the 61st floor. Its secret 38-meter spire was assembled inside the structure and hoisted into place in just 90 minutes to win the race for the world's tallest building. Visually, it looks like a shimmering sunburst or the radiator of a celestial car, its metallic scales reflecting the ambition of the industrial elite. Architects speak of the spirit of the eagle that dwells in the steel, watching over the city with a cold, protective eye. As the morning sun catches the triangular windows of the crown, the building glows with a blinding, divine fire. Does this monument to the automobile represent our ultimate speed? Or is it a frozen moment of beauty in a world that never stops moving? What kind of tower breathes like a living creature to survive the suffocating heat of the sun? The Al Bar Towers in Abu Dhabi, completed in 2012, represent a radical fusion of ancient wisdom and hyper-modern engineering. Standing 145 meters tall, these towers feature a mashrabiyah kinetic facade, a computerized skin of 2,000 umbrella-like units that open and close in response to the sun's movement. Visually, the towers resemble giant golden pineapples or the shifting scales of a desert lizard, constantly changing their texture to shield the glass within. There are unsettling warnings among the engineers that the mechanical clicking of the facade sounds like a rhythmic heartbeat in the sandstorm. As the evening sun catches the geometric patterns, the towers glow with a radiant, protective light that feels almost divine. In this mechanical struggle for survival, a chilling question remains. As we build machines that mimic life, will there come a day when the buildings no longer need the humans who created them? Can a single structure truly capture the immense weight of human knowledge and the shifting sands of time? Known as Ithra, this architectural marvel in Dhahran was designed by the firm Snuheta and opened in 2018. Standing 90 meters tall, it is wrapped in 350 kilometers of stainless steel tubes, reflecting the harsh desert sun with a soft, metallic sheen. Visually, the building looks like a cluster of giant pebbles smoothed by the winds of an ancient era, appearing both futuristic and prehistoric. Why would such a massive symbol of intellect be placed in the heart of the oil fields? There is an eerie stillness within its library, as if the air itself is charged with the spirits of forgotten scholars. As the desert light shimmers off its curved surfaces, the building seems to vibrate with a silent, intellectual energy. Who will remember our discoveries when the sand finally takes it all back? Standing before Ithra, one feels the thin line between our greatest achievements and the eternal void. Find a strange, spiritual peace in the jagged layers of this stone sanctuary, where the architecture itself seems to be part of the ancient Scottish earth. Designed by Kengo Kuma and opened in 2018, the V&A Dundee features 2,500 cast stone panels that create a complex pattern of shadows. The design was inspired by the dramatic cliff faces of Scotland's northeastern coast, engineering a building that feels like it was grown rather than built. Visually, it resembles a prehistoric ship or a cliff face carved by the hand of a giant. standing defiant against the cold waters of the River Tay. There is a profound sense of the old ways breathing through the modern walls, a feeling of being protected by the weight of the stone. As the soft gray light of the North Sea washes over the facade, a sense of sacred stillness descends upon the visitor. Do you feel the ancient earth watching you through the cracks in the stone? In this intersection of design and nature, we are reminded of our own fragile place in history. Brace your spirit and do not look away from the emerald abyss that slices through the heart of Hubei. The Pingshan Grand Canyon in Enshi is a geological masterpiece, a narrow fissure carved by the relentless flow of water over millions of years. This deep karst gorge is so secluded that its waters remain impossibly clear, allowing wooden boats to appear as if they are floating in midair above the riverbed. Visually, the canyon resembles a jagged scar in the Earth's emerald skin, draped in hanging vines and shrouded in a perpetual, haunting mist. Local legends speak of the path to the underworld, warning that the absolute silence at the bottom is actually the weight of the mountain listening to your heartbeat. As a narrow shaft of sunlight pierces the deep green shadows, the water glows with a supernatural, crystalline radiance. In this silent cathedral of stone, a chilling question lingers. Is the water reflecting the sky? Or is it a window into a world we were never meant to see? Do not look back as you navigate the spiraling madness of a road that seems to have been drawn by a dragon in a fever dream. The Panlong Ancient Trail, carved into the treacherous slopes of the Kunlun Mountains, features over 600 hairpin turns that descend thousands of meters in just a few short miles. This engineering feat was designed to conquer the vertical reality of the plateau, a testament to human persistence against the gravity of the earth. Visually, the road resembles a giant coiled silver serpent resting on the scorched brown skin of the mountain, its tight loops creating a hypnotic pattern of black asphalt and white lines. There is a chilling local warning that the road tests the heart before it tests the wheels, demanding absolute focus from those who traverse its spine. As the high-altitude sun glares off the metal guardrails, the path glows with a fierce metallic intensity. In this dizzying dance with the abyss, you are left to wonder, are we climbing toward the heavens? Or are we just trying to outrun the shadow of our own fear? Don't let the soft, flowing curves of the stone fool you, for this canyon was carved by the violent power of floods that left no room for error. Xilin Canyon is a stunning slot canyon of red sandstone, where millions of years of water erosion have sculpted the rock into smooth, wave-like patterns. The passage is so narrow in places that you can touch both walls at once, feeling the cool, polished skin of the earth. Visually, the canyon resembles a river of flowing red silk or the interior of a massive mythical beast frozen in time. Local folklore suggests that the canyon is the breath of the Killen, a legendary creature that brings both prosperity and judgment. As the noon sun reaches the canyon floor, the red walls ignite with a fiery, golden-orange glow. In this narrow temple of light and shadow, a chilling sensation of being watched from the cracks descends upon the soul. Is the canyon a gift from the gods, or a beautiful trap for the unwary? Imagine a game of football played on the jagged teeth of the sea, where every kick is watched by the cold eyes of the Arctic. The Henningsvær Stadium is perhaps the world's most spectacular pitch, carved directly into a rocky islet surrounded by the churning waters of the Lofoten Islands. With no stands for spectators, the field is ringed by massive wooden racks for drying cod, an engineering feat of cultural survival. Visually, it resembles an emerald jewel set into a crown of dark, craggy rocks, standing defiant against the crashing white foam of the ocean. Local stories speak of sea wraiths that gather in the spray to watch the matches, their voices lost in the roar of the wind. As the low, Arctic sun ignites the surrounding peaks, the green turf glows with a supernatural intensity. In this clash between sport and the raw elements, one must ask, do we play to win a game, or to prove that we can still find joy at the very edge of the world? Witness a breathtaking fusion of industrial grit and glass elegance standing tall over the historic Elbe River. The Elbphilharmonie, completed in 2016 by Herzog and de Meuron, rises 110 meters into the German sky, perched atop an old 1960s brick warehouse. The upper structure features 100 curved glass panes, each individually shaped to reflect the sky and the water with clinical precision. This massive project, costing over 860 million euros, houses one of the most acoustically advanced concert halls in the world, engineered with 10,000 unique gypsum fiber plates to disperse sound perfectly. Visually, the building looks like a frozen wave of crystal crashing atop a sturdy red brick cliff, a bold statement of architectural contrast. There is a deep cultural pride in this Elfi, serving as a beacon of Hamburg's maritime identity. As the sun sets, the glass crown ignites with a golden flickering light, reminiscent of a sacred lighthouse guarding the harbor. When the music begins to vibrate through the floor, one must ask, is this just a building, or a divine instrument built to capture the very soul of the wind? Don't look back, for the rising tides of this ancient island have swallowed many travelers who underestimated the power of the sea. Mont Saint-Michel is a medieval Benedictine abbey and UNESCO World Heritage Site, perched on a rocky islet in Normandy that has been a place of pilgrimage since the 8th century. The granite walls and soaring Gothic spires were engineered to withstand both the crushing pressure of the Atlantic and the sieges of the 100 Years' War. Visually, the abbey resembles a jagged stone crown rising from the shifting sands, appearing like a floating kingdom at high tide. Local legends warn that the spirits of ancient monks still guard the narrow ramparts, watching for those who lack a pure heart. As the golden abbey light pierces through the heavy sea mist, a chilling sense of divine isolation descends upon the soul. The bells toll with a frequency that seems to vibrate through the very marrow of your bones. Can we ever truly reach the heavens while being anchored to a rock that the ocean is constantly trying to reclaim? Beware the reflections in these silver walls, for they may show you a history that was supposed to stay buried deep within the earth. Built on the site of an abandoned coal mine in northern France, the Louvre lens is a minimalist masterpiece designed by Sana and opened in 2012. The structure consists of 5 interconnected buildings, clad in polished aluminum and glass, designed to disappear into the landscape through soft, hazy reflections. Its gallery of time displays 200 masterpieces in a single open space, breaking the traditional barriers of art history. Visually, it resembles a long silver scar or a series of frozen mirrors lying flat across the scarred industrial earth. Local miners' legends say that the spirits of the black diamonds still haunt the grounds, searching for the light that the museum now provides. As the gray sky of lens reflects off the metal skin, a haunting, translucent aura surrounds the halls. Do these mirrors show us the beauty of art, or do they force us to face the darkness that lies beneath our feet? Don't let the rhythmic beauty of these sands fool you, for the desert has 1,000 ways to make a traveler disappear. The Kumtog Desert, located at the junction of Gansu and Xinjiang, is famous for its unique feather-shaped dunes that have remained stable for thousands of years. This geological anomaly is maintained by complex wind patterns that prevent the sand from burying the nearby ancient oasis of Dunhuang. Visually, the desert looks like the ripples of a petrified sea, or the delicate patterns of a giant bird's wing etched into the earth. Local whispers warn that the sand never stops moving, even when the air is still, as if something is crawling just beneath the surface. As the golden hour bathes the ridges in a soft amber glow, the desert takes on a spiritual, hypnotic quality. In this land of eternal dunes, you are left to wonder, is the desert protecting the oasis, or is it just waiting for the wind to change? Is this a dream of the sky, or a piece of the Maldives lost in the heart of the unforgiving desert? Dongtai Janayar Lake in Qinghai is a spectacular salt lake known for its impossibly bright turquoise waters, a color caused by the high concentration of copper and minerals. The lake is divided by a white salt path, creating a stark contrast between the vibrant blue water and the crystalline white shores. Visually, it looks like a liquid turquoise eye staring up at the heavens from the parched skin of the earth. Local legends claim the lake is a tear shed by a celestial being, cooling the burning sands of the basin. As the desert light shimmers off the salt crust, the entire lake glows with a radiant neon brilliance that feels like a spiritual cleansing. In this oasis of impossible color, one is forced to wonder, can such purity truly exist in a world of dust? Or is it just a shimmering mirage of our own desires? Beware the shifting colors of these stones, for they are said to bleed when the heavens weep. The Hongshilin Geopark in Hunan features a rare red carbonate rock forest, a geological treasure dating back 450 million years to the Ordovician period. These formations were once part of an ancient seabed, sculpted by millennia of erosion into sharp, jagged pillars that change from vibrant red to deep purple depending on the humidity and sunlight. Visually, the landscape resembles a frozen sea of fire or the jagged teeth of a buried crimson dragon. There are unsettling whispers among the locals that the stones harbor the spirits of an ancient ocean that refuses to stay dry. As the evening sun bathes the ridges in a saturated blood-red light, the rocks seem to pulse with a low rhythmic heat. In this forest of petrified fire, one must ask, is the earth showing us its beauty? Or is it a reminder of a violent history that we have long forgotten? Tread lightly upon these stones, for you are walking through the skeletal remains of a world that existed long before the first human breath. The Wansheng Stone Forest in Chongqing is the oldest of its kind in China, dating back 465 million years to the Ordovician period. This karst landscape is filled with stone fans, stone drums, and prehistoric marine fossils embedded directly into the gray rock. Visually, the formations resemble petrified waves frozen in mid-crash, or a giant's game of chess abandoned in the mist. Local whispers say that the stones move when no one is watching, realigning themselves to the rhythm of an ancient tide. As the moonlight reflects off the damp limestone, the entire forest takes on a ghostly, translucent aura of sacred stillness. Standing among these silent, ancient pillars, one is forced to ask, if these stones have watched the rise and fall of entire eras, what do they see when they look at our fleeting lives? Listen for the roar of the silver dragon before it appears on the horizon, for the river is about to turn into a wall of unstoppable fury. The Chentong tidal bore is the largest in the world, a natural phenomenon where the incoming tide from the East China Sea is forced into the narrowing funnel of the river, creating a breaking wave up to 9 meters high. This event, occurring with the most intensity during the Mid-Autumn Festival, has been a spectacle of power and danger for over 2,000 years. Visually, it looks like a white mountain of water charging against the current, a chaotic line of foam and thunder. Ancient legends tell of a vengeful general whose spirit commands the waves to reclaim the shore. As the sun reflects off the crest of the surging tide, a blinding silver light dances across the water. In this display of raw lunar power, one must ask, can we ever hope to master the tides? Or are we just watching the moon exert its absolute authority over the earth? Witness the majestic curtain of water that flows across the boundaries of two nations, indifferent to the lines drawn by men. The Detianban Jiak waterfall is the largest transnational waterfall in Asia, spanning the border between China and Vietnam in a spectacular three-tiered cascade. Fed by the Quy Xuan River, the falls drop over 70 meters amidst a landscape of jagged karst peaks and lush green forests. Visually, it looks like a wall of white lace draped over emerald stairs, a serene yet powerful display of nature's harmony. Local legends speak of lovers from different worlds who met at the base of the falls, their spirits forever joined in the mist. As the morning sun pierces the spray, the falling water glows with a soft, iridescent light that feels like a blessing. In this place, where the water flows freely between borders, one must ask, why do we build walls when the earth itself only knows how to flow together? step into a living scroll of ancient ink and wash, where the water flows as clear as the tears of a forgotten deity. The Nanxi River in Zhejiang Province is a masterpiece of geological serenity, famous for its 36 bends and 72 beaches that weave through primitive forests and ancient villages. Unlike the raging rivers of the West, the Nanxi is a gentle mirror, reflecting the weathered karst peaks that have stood as silent sentinels for over 100 million years. Visually, the river looks like a jade ribbon draped over a bed of silver stones, its surface often broken only by the rhythmic splash of a cormorant fisherman's oar. Local legends whisper that the river is the breath of the mountains, a sacred vein that purifies the soul of anyone who dares to drift upon its surface. As the morning mist clings to the water, a shimmering, translucent aura envelops the valley. In this realm of absolute stillness, one must ask, is the river reflecting our world? Or is it showing us a glimpse of a paradise we lost long ago? Tread carefully through these villages where the houses are not built upon the earth, but are born from the very teeth of the mountains. Castelmezzano and Pietrapertosa are two ancient settlements in the Lucanian Dolomites, connected by the Flight of the Angel zip line that soars across a dizzying canyon. Founded in the 10th century as mountain fortresses, these villages are engineered into the jagged sandstone peaks, creating a vertical labyrinth of stone stairs and narrow alleys. Visually, they look like eagles' nests carved into the gray, craggy face of a petrified giant, their terracotta roofs blending into the natural rock. Local legends speak of mountain spirits that guard the heights, watching over the residents who live suspended between the clouds and the valley floor. As the golden hour strikes, the stone facades ignite with a radiant orange warmth that feels like a spiritual embrace. In this high-altitude sanctuary, one must ask, is it safer to live anchored to the ground or to find peace in the thin air of the peaks? Behold the last sentinel of Europe, standing defiant at the edge of the world where the land ends and the terrifying infinite begins. The Cape St. Vincent Lighthouse, built upon the ruins of a 16th century Franciscan monastery, guards one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world with a beacon that can be seen for 60 kilometers, perched on cliffs that drop 60 meters vertically into the churning Atlantic. The structure must withstand some of the most violent winds on the planet. Visually, it resembles a lonely white knight standing on a dark, jagged pedestal of rock, surrounded by the white foam of a restless sea. Sailors often speak of the voices of the abyss that can be heard when the wind screams through the lighthouse galleries at night. As the sun sinks into the deep blue horizon, the lighthouse emits a powerful, rhythmic pulse of light that feels like a spiritual heartbeat. In the face of this watery void, one is forced to ask, are we the masters of the horizon, or are we just watching the waves slowly reclaim the earth? Witness a lone pink sanctuary sitting in the middle of a sapphire sea, a vessel of faith that has survived the rise and fall of empires. The Church of the Holy Cross on Akdamar Island was built in the 10th century by the Armenian king Gagik I, engineered with intricate stone reliefs that tell the entire history of a civilization. The church's volcanic tufa stone has weathered over 1,000 years of earthquakes and isolation, standing as a testament to the endurance of the human spirit. Visually, it looks like a delicate stone jewel, floating on the turquoise waters of Lake Van. Its orange-pink walls contrasting sharply with the white-capped mountains in the distance. Local whispers say that the prayers carved into the walls can still be heard in the rustle of the almond trees at sunset. As the light fades, the church takes on a ghostly, translucent glow that feels like a sacred beacon in the dark. How can a single structure hold so much history without crumbling under the weight of its own silence? Step into a limestone fairy tale where the stones whisper secrets of a time when houses had to disappear in the blink of an eye. The Trulli of Alberobello are unique dry stone huts with conical roofs, built without mortar using prehistoric techniques that allowed them to be easily dismantled to avoid taxes. These whitewashed structures, dating back to the 14th century, feature thick walls that provide a natural sanctuary from the Mediterranean heat. Visually, the town looks like a field of giant stone mushrooms or a cluster of beehives scattered across the sun-drenched Italian hills. The mysterious white symbols painted on the gray roofs are said to protect the inhabitants from the evil eye and attract divine favor. As the golden evening light bathes the narrow alleys, a feeling of ancestral peace settles over the white stones. Do the spirits of the old builders still walk these rounded corridors at night? In this kingdom of stone, you are forced to ask, if our homes can be taken apart so easily, what truly remains of the lives we build within them? Stand where the world finally falls away into the frozen infinite, at the absolute edge of the European continent. The Nordkap globe is a symbolic monument perched on a 307-meter cliff, marking the northernmost point, reachable by road. This iron structure is engineered to withstand the brutal Arctic gales that scream across the Barents Sea, where the Atlantic and Arctic Oceans collide in a violent embrace. Visually, it looks like a lonely iron cage guarding the gateway to the North Pole, silhouetted against a sky that never truly darkens in the summer. Travelers speak of a profound, hollow feeling when standing here, as if the wind is stripping away the layers of the ego. As the midnight sun casts a long golden shadow over the dark water, a sense of terminal peace descends upon the soul. Does the earth end here, or is this where the true journey begins? In the face of this watery void, you are forced to ask, what lies beyond the horizon of our own understanding? Lose yourself in the velvet green waves of a landscape that seems to have been sculpted by the fingers of a peaceful giant. The Beauseant green tea fields, established in 1937, are a masterpiece of agricultural engineering, where tea bushes are planted in perfectly tiered rows that follow the natural curves of the mountainside. This layout ensures optimal drainage and sunlight, creating a high-quality harvest that accounts for nearly 40% of Korea's tea production. Visually, the hills look like a giant emerald fingerprint, or a series of green stairways leading to the clouds, draped in a perpetual soft fog. There is a spiritual stillness that dwells in the rows of tea, a sense of zen that calms the frantic mind. As the morning light filters through the cedar trees, the green leaves glow with a radiant, translucent brilliance. In this sanctuary of scent and color, one is left to wonder, is this the earth's way of teaching us patience? Or is the tea just a medium for the spirits of the mountain to speak to us? Do not look away as the earth trembles, and a pillar of fire challenges the absolute authority of the stars. The Satish Dhawan Space Center, located on the barrier island of Sriharikota, is the primary launch center for the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. This high-tech fortress features 2 launch pads engineered to withstand the extreme thermal loads of GSLV and PSLV rockets as they pierce the atmosphere. Visually, the launch towers look like skeletal iron giants standing guard on the edge of the Bay of Bengal, their silhouettes shimmering in the heat of the tropical sun. Scientists speak of a hollow silence that occurs in the split second before ignition, a moment where time seems to hold its breath. As the rocket's trail paints a blinding white scar across the deep blue sky, a sense of cosmic insignificance washes over the soul. Are we reaching for the heavens to find our future? Or are we just trying to escape the gravity of our own history? Look upon the white sail of concrete that healed a divided nation, standing as a sentinel over the sapphire waters of the Adriatic. The Pelješac Bridge is a 2.4-kilometer cable-stayed masterpiece that finally connects the Croatian mainland with the Pelješac Peninsula, bypassing the narrow coastal strip of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Engineered with 6 massive pylons that mirror the shape of traditional Mediterranean sails, it is designed to withstand both high seismic activity and the violent Bora winds. Visually, the bridge looks like a string of white pearls floating on a sea of liquid glass, a graceful arc that blends into the karst landscape. Residents speak of a profound sense of reunification, as if a long open wound in the earth has finally been stitched together. As the moonlight hits the white cables, the bridge emits a ghostly silver radiance. Has human engineering finally conquered the boundaries of politics? Or is this just another temporary bridge in the long fractured history of the sea? Dare to step onto a boomerang of glass and steel that defies gravity by hanging over the freezing waters of the Moskva River without a single pillar to support it. The Zaryadye floating bridge is a 70-meter-long cantilevered miracle of modern engineering, designed to offer a 360-degree panorama of the Kremlin and the city. Its V-shaped structure uses high-strength steel and a complex counterweight system hidden within the park's landscape. Visually, it resembles a transparent ribbon frozen in mid-air, a bridge that starts on land and ends in the void, appearing to float above the ice like a mirage. There is a dizzying sensation of weightlessness as you walk toward the tip, as if the city is moving while you remain still. As the moonlight catches the glass railings, the bridge emits a ghostly, translucent radiance. In this moment of suspension between the earth and the river, you must ask, are we building paths to cross the water? Or are we just looking for a better way to stare into the abyss? Step into a portal where the ancient Silk Road has been reimagined as a cathedral of glass, bridging the gap between the spirits of the East and the West. Istanbul Airport is a monument to human movement, featuring the world's largest single-roof terminal under a canopy inspired by the traditional mosques of the Ottoman Empire. Its air traffic control tower is engineered in the shape of a tulip, a symbol of Turkish heritage, standing as a sentinel over 76 million square meters of high-tech infrastructure. Visually, the interior looks like a sea of white dunes, or the wings of a giant mechanical bird waiting to take flight. There is a sacred quality to the light that filters through the vaulted ceilings, creating an atmosphere of profound, transitional peace. As the sunset glimmers off the vast glass walls, a shimmering golden aura surrounds the gates. In this temple of departures and arrivals, one must ask, is every journey just a home search? Or are we all just drifting between worlds that can never truly touch? Where the Black Sea whispers its oldest secrets at the feet of futuristic skyscrapers, Batumi emerges, a jewel of light and movement appearing to float between the water and the Caucasus Mountains. It is a place of constant transformation, a stage where the subtropical breeze purifies the air and architecture becomes a choreography of steel, celebrating love and freedom. Batumi has undergone a radical metamorphosis since 2004, becoming a showcase of contemporary design. The 130-meter Alphabet Tower stands out, paying tribute to Georgian writing, as does the Kempinski Hotel Tower with its own embeddiferosis wheel. However, the place's soul resides in the moving statue of Ali and Nino, an 8-meter steel structure that joins and passes through each other every 10 minutes, symbolizing the eternal union of two worlds and cultures that fate tried to separate. Visually, the city resembles a wave of neon and crystal breaking against the stone coast, a silhouette of dreamlike shapes shining like electric pearls under Georgia's starry sky, merging classical elegance with a psychedelic vision of tomorrow. When the sun sinks into the Black Sea, tinting the water a mystical violet, the movement of Ali and Nino transmits a feeling of sacred peace and spiritual cleansing. It is said that the wind from the sea brings blessings from ancient sailors. Observing the metallic embrace of the lovers, a question comforts our soul. Is love the only force capable of piercing the hardness of steel and the implacable passage of time? Why would a king build a dream castle on top of a lonely cliff? Not to defend his borders, but to flee reality and take refuge in Wagner's operas? Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria is the ultimate monument to the madness and genius of Ludwig II. Why spend a crown's fortune on a refuge for ghosts and medieval legends while the modern world advanced toward industry? Started in 1869, this palace was designed by a theatrical set designer rather than a traditional architect, seeking to recreate the spirit of Teutonic Knights. Despite its ancient appearance, it featured the most advanced technology of its time: central heating, running water, and the region's first telephone system. Ludwig II only lived 172 days inside before his mysterious death in 1886, leaving the work unfinished as a silent testimony to his private obsessions. Visually, the castle looks like a white stone swan, floating on a sea of dark firs, a silhouette of pointed towers emerging from the mist like a crystal mirage, defying gravity and the mountain's logic. It is rumored that the ghost of the Mad King still wanders the halls of his unfinished throne room, and that on stormy nights, opera music can be heard emanating from the closed windows. Locals warn the castle guard as the secrets of a mind that never wanted to be understood. Observing its walls from the Marienbrücke Bridge, the doubt haunts us. Was this castle a work of absolute genius, or the golden prison of a man who lost himself in his own dreams? Located in the heart of the Kralitsky Snezhnik Mountains, Skybridge 721 holds the world record as the longest pedestrian suspension bridge on Earth. This structure is a marvel of mechanical precision and safety, designed to offer a total immersion experience in the wild nature of Central Europe without altering the balance of the alpine ecosystem. Opened in May 2022, the bridge has an exact length of 721 meters and hangs at a height of 95 meters above the Mlinsky Stream Valley. Its construction required the installation of massive support towers and a system of high-resistance cables that maintain stability even in high mountain winds. The bridge is unidirectional and has a width of just 1.2 meters, which intensifies the sensation of walking on air in a structure that seems to float by pure technical will. Visually, Skybridge 721 looks like an extremely fine silver thread trying to sew two cloudy peaks together. A minimalist line of steel crossing the green abyss like a beam of solid light captured among the millenary forests of the Czech Republic. Under the crystalline light of the mountain, walking across this bridge becomes an act of spiritual cleansing, where the purer air seems to purify the souls of those who dare to cross it. Locals say the mountain spirit protects those who walk with respect over this void. Reaching the other end, the feeling of achievement is absolute. Is this bridge just a tourist attraction? Or is it a sacred path designed to reconnect us with the magnitude? Why would humanity build a building so immense that it is capable of generating its own clouds and rain within its walls? The NASA Vehicle Assembly Building, VAB, at Cape Canaveral is a structure that defies the understanding of terrestrial architecture. Why create an interior void so vast that the exterior climate seems to lose control upon entering this monolith of the space age? Completed in 1966 for the Apollo program, this colossus stands at a height of 160 meters and has a volume so massive it could house 3.5 Empire State Buildings. Its doors are the largest in the world, taking 45 minutes to open completely. It was designed to assemble Saturn V rockets and later the space shuttles, using a system of cranes and mobile platforms that handle components of hundreds of tons with millimetric precision. Visually, the VAB stands as a gray and white monolith, a historic soundbox decorated with a giant American flag that looks like a tattoo of pride on the skin of progress. Do not let the shine of its mirrors make you forget the abyss that lies beneath its feet. One World Trade Center, the tallest skyscraper in the Western Hemisphere, is a crystal fortress born from the ashes, a place where maximum height meets extreme security bordering on the paranoid. Climbing to its observatory is to face the force of winds that could knock a man down and a history that still vibrates in the air. With a symbolic height of 1,776 feet, 541 meters, in honor of the year of United States independence, this building opened its doors in 2014. Its structure features a 56-meter-high reinforced concrete base designed to withstand impacts and explosions, while its spire functions as a cutting-edge communication antenna. Every glass panel is designed to withstand extreme pressures, making this tower the tallest and most technologically advanced refuge in the world. Visually, the building resembles a cut diamond rising toward the infinite, an inverted glass pyramid reflecting the Manhattan sky in such a way that, at times, it seems to disappear into the clouds, becoming a ghost of light and reflections. Warnings exist about the feeling of oppression some experience in its highest levels, a vertigo that is not physical, but spiritual. Beware of the mist emerging from the Tagus estuary, crossing the Vasco da Gama Bridge when the white mantle devours the horizon is an experience that blurs the border between reality and the void. Do not stop, for visibility can drop to 0 in seconds, turning this concrete giant into a labyrinth suspended over treacherous waters where the wind hits with a ruthless force. Inaugurated in 1908 for the Lisbon World Exposition, this colossus of 12.3 kilometers holds the title of the longest bridge in the European Union. Its structure was designed with surgical precision to withstand hurricane winds of up to 250 km/h and an earthquake 4 times more powerful than the one that destroyed Lisbon in 1755. The pillars sink 95 meters below sea level, anchoring this route to the Earth's crust as if it were a shield against the end of the world. Visually, the bridge looks like the spine of a white prehistoric monster extending infinitely into nothingness, a concrete needle trying to sew the sky to the ocean, disappearing into the mist like a ladder to another dimension. Why would the Earth in the heart of Tuscany decide to bleed hot water at a frantic rate of 500 liters per second? The Saturnia thermal baths are not just a natural spa. They are a volcanic wound emitting a mystical vapor from the entrails of Mount Amiata. Why does the water maintain a constant temperature of 37.5 degrees Celsius, exactly the human body temperature, as if the Earth were trying to imitate us or reclaim us? These waterfalls, known as Cascata del Mulino, have a geological origin linked to the region's extinct volcanic activity. The water travels for decades through underground tunnels before emerging, loaded with sulfur and minerals that have carved travertine pools over thousands of years. Its flow is so inexhaustible that it renews the water in all its basins every few hours, maintaining a chemical purity revered since the era of the Etruscans and Romans. Visually, the baths resemble a giant turquoise staircase carved into the Italian countryside, or a river of hot clouds descending among green hills, enveloped in a constant vapor veil, distorting reality and hiding those who submerge in its waters. Legend tells that these springs were born from a lightning bolt thrown by the god Jupiter during a battle with Saturn, opening a portal to the underworld. Locals whisper that on cold nights, the vapor carries voices of a forgotten civilization still seeking warmth. Entering this sulfurous embrace, the question haunts us: are we healing our body? Or are we allowing an ancient and mischievous heat to take over our spirit? Stay away from the cracks if you hear the roar of black ice. Lake Baikal in Siberia is a colossus of fresh water that does not forgive mistakes. Walking on its frozen surface in winter is to face a crystal abyss where the depth is so vast that the sunlight is lost in infinite darkness. The danger here is the lake's heartbeat, a constant seismic movement that can open fissures meters wide in a second, swallowing everything on the surface. With an estimated age of 25 million years, Baikal is the oldest and deepest lake in the world, reaching a depth of 642 meters. It contains approximately 20% of the planet's unfrozen fresh water, a mass so immense it influences the climate of all of Asia. Its origin is a continental rift where tectonic plates slowly separate, making it a living geological laboratory inhabited by unique species found nowhere else on Earth. Visually, Baikal resembles a deep and frozen blue eye staring at the cosmos, or a sapphire scar etched into the skin of Russia, where the ice is so transparent you can see methane bubbles trapped like jewels in an eternal crystal. Under the gallows light of the Siberian moon, the lake emits metallic sounds and laments local shamans a tribute to Old Baikal, a powerful spirit demanding absolute respect. It is warned that whoever looks too long into the bottom of its clear waters can lose their sanity before the magnitude of the void. Crossing this crystal desert, the warning is clear. Are you crossing a lake or walking on the liquid tomb of a giant that is awakening? Hold your breath and do not look into the abyss when the train launches into the void. Crossing the Landwasser Viaduct is to face one of the world's boldest railway maneuvers, where steel and steam defy gravity over a limestone precipice. The danger here is not just the vertical drop, but the violent transition between open air and the absolute darkness of a tunnel excavated in living rock. Built between 1901 and 1902, this colossus of railway engineering rises 65 meters high and has a length of 136 meters. Most astonishingly, its 5 masonry pillars were erected without using external scaffolding, a technical feat requiring rudimentary electric cranes to lift stone blocks in extreme alpine weather conditions. The structure curves with a precision of a 100-meter radius, leading directly into the Landwasser Tunnel. Visually, the viaduct resembles a gray stone ribcage emerging from the mountain's entrails, a series of elegant arches looking like the ribs of a prehistoric giant, trying to hold up the passage of time and progress over the frozen river. Under the silver light of alpine snow, the viaduct emits a frigid energy locals associate with mountain spirits. It is said that the sound of the train crossing the arches is actually the roar of the stone protesting the weight of the metal. Entering the dark tunnel after the abyss, unease arises. Are we traveling toward our destination, or has the mountain finally swallowed us as an offering for our audacity? Why would humanity build a cathedral-like temple dedicated exclusively to the cult of hot water inside a sacred hill? The Gellert Baths in Budapest are not a simple spa. They are a labyrinth of vapor where Art Nouveau luxury hides a thermal mystery emanating from the Earth's depths. Why obsess with healing through waters smelling of sulfur and ancient minerals, as if seeking eternal youth in a volcanic broth? Opened in 1918 and designed in a splendid secessionist style, the spa receives water from 13 different thermal springs emerging at temperatures between 35 degrees and 40 degrees. Its pools are surrounded by Zolnay ceramic mosaics and marble columns that have withstood bombings and revolutions. The original hydraulic system, a marvel of early 20th century engineering, channels calcium and magnesium-loaded water from the deep caves of Gellert Hill, maintaining a constant flow that never stops. Visually, the interior resembles a turquoise and gold jewelry box submerged in a wet dream, a structure of glass domes and stone statues appearing like figures frozen in an eternal purification ritual under the diffused light through stained glass windows. When the sun hits the golden mosaics through the vapor, a mystical atmosphere is created that seems to cleanse the sins of the body. Rumors say beneath the pools exist secret tunnels where the water speaks to those who know how to listen. Submerging in this liquid silence, a question haunts us. Are we here to heal the skin? Or is this bath a secret rite to prepare our souls for the unknown? Why would human beings choose to live in a pressurized metal box, suspended in the absolute void, where the slightest technical failure means an instantaneous and cold death? The International Space Station, ISS, represents the final frontier of human curiosity. Why abandon the protection of our atmosphere to float in an environment where the sun burns without mercy, and oxygen is an artificially manufactured resource? Launched in 1998, this marvel of global cooperation orbits at a height of 400 kilometers, traveling at an astonishing speed of 28,000 kilometers, about the size of a football field. The ISS completes one lap around the Earth every 90 minutes, allowing its inhabitants to witness 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. Its structure is a puzzle of high-tech modules, gigantic solar panels, and life support systems that filter every last drop of moisture in an eternal cycle of recycling. Visually, the station looks like a mechanical dragonfly of gold and silver, gliding over the blue curvature of our planet. A technological skeleton shining in the infinite darkness of the cosmos like a beacon of human intelligence lost in the black immensity. Welcome to the vision of a future where technology does not destroy nature, but becomes its most fervent protector. Gardens by the Bay is an artificial ecosystem of 101 hectares that has transformed Singapore into a true city in a garden, a living laboratory where botany and sustainable engineering coexist in perfect symbiosis. Opened in 2012, This park is famous for its 18 super trees, vertical structures that vary between 25 and 50 meters in height. These steel colossi act as ventilation ducts for nearby conservatories, collect rainwater, and generate solar energy. The complex houses more than 1.5 million plants from all over the world within its two giant greenhouses, the Flower Dome and the Cloud Forest, the latter featuring a 35-meter artificial mountain and one of the world's tallest indoor waterfalls. Visually, the garden looks like an alien forest extracted from a science fiction movie, with neon umbrellas and metallic nets intertwining with vegetation, creating a landscape of green fractals and technicolor lights that breathe with the city. Under the soft luminescence of the super trees, visitors experience a sensation of spiritual cleansing, a reconnection with life amidst the concrete. The people of Singapore believe this place is the mystical lung of their island, proof that human ingenuity can return beauty to the earth. Walking along its elevated walkway, a certainty arises. If we care for nature with this devotion, could it be that the paradise we lost can be reconstructed with our own hands? Do not touch the walls if you feel the vibration. The Hoover Dam is not just a concrete wall. It is a plug containing a water fury capable of wiping out entire states if released. Walking along its crest is to feel the pulse of an imprisoned giant roaring in the depths of its turbines. The danger here is not just the height, but the electrical energy saturating the air, making hair stand on end before a force we cannot control. Built between 1931 and 1936, this mass of 221 meters in height contains enough concrete to pave a two-lane highway from San Francisco to New York. It was an unprecedented engineering project that tamed the wild Colorado River to create Lake Mead. The water pressure at the base is so immense that the dam must be 200 meters thick to avoid being crushed, a physical barrier holding the weight of millions of tons of history and sediment. Visually, the dam resembles a gigantic gray molar embedded in the throat of the Black Canyon, a shield of Art Deco lines that looks like ancient armor designed to resist the passage of centuries and the erosion of time. In the shadows of its internal tunnels, rumors of workers buried alive in fresh cement feed legends of whispers emerging from the walls. It is said the dam has its own hunger, only satisfied by the roar of water. Rising with imperial elegance on the banks of the Danube, the Hungarian parliament is not just the seat of legislative power. It is the ultimate symbol of Hungary's sovereignty and pride. This neo-Gothic palace is one of the largest and most luxurious government structures in the world, a masterpiece of 19th century engineering that defines the city's profile. Built between 1885 and 1904, the building has a length of 268 meters and a dome reaching 96 meters in height, a symbolic figure commemorating the arrival of the Magyars in the region in the year 896. 40 kilograms of 24-karat gold and more than 500,000 precious stones were used for its decoration. The complex houses 691 rooms and the Holy Crown of Hungary, permanently guarded by honor guards in a central hall that breathes history in every centimeter of its marble. Visually, the parliament resembles a colossal stone lace or a golden jewelry box, floating on the dark waters of the Danube, a structure of perfect symmetry whose 1,000 pinnacles look like crystal needles trying to capture the northern light. When night falls and the exterior golden lights turn on, the building emits a sacred glow reflected in the river like a mirage of eternal glory. Be careful walking on the stones of Metsketa, because here every step you take is over a history that refuses to die. This city, one of the oldest in Georgia, is an epicenter of sacred relics and ancestral energies that can be overwhelming for the uninitiated. Do not think these churches are just monuments. They are spiritual fortresses that have resisted 3,000 years of blood, faith, and conquest. Founded in the 2nd millennium BC, Metsketa was the capital of the ancient kingdom of Iberia and the place where Georgia adopted Christianity in 327 AD. Its historic center is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, highlighted by the Svetitskovely Cathedral, built in the 11th century. This place is considered the spiritual heart of the country because, according to tradition, buried beneath its foundations is Christ's tunic, brought from Jerusalem nearly 2,000 years ago by a local Jew. Visually, the city looks like a precious stone fossil embedded in the confluence of the Mikvari and Aragvi rivers, a structure of conical domes and sandstone walls appearing to sprout from the earth as if they were sacred geological formations. A warning exists among local monks about the intensity of the energy emanating from Svetitskovely. It is said that those who enter with an impure heart may feel an inexplicable heaviness, as if centuries of faith were judging them. Do not let the turquoise blue of its waters hypnotize you, for you might lose track of where reality ends and oblivion begins. Turtle Island is a private paradise where absolute solitude can become dangerous for the human mind. Do not venture alone into its crystalline lagoons. The silence here is so dense that your own heartbeat can sound like a war drum. reminding you that in this corner of the Pacific, nature remains the absolute mistress. This 500-acre island is famous for being the setting for the 1980 film, The Blue Lagoon. It is a sanctuary of biodiversity restored with the planting of more than 500,000 trees in recent decades, making it a model of conservation. However, its isolation is real. It is located in the remote Yasawa Islands group, where sea currents are as unpredictable as the legends surrounding the ancient clans that once inhabited these reefs. Visually, the island resembles an emerald eye surrounded by a coral pupil and a sclera of sapphire silk, an organic jewel appearing to float adrift in the ocean, like the shell of a mythological creature that has decided to sleep forever. When the purple light of twilight reflects on the still waters, a supernatural peace envelops the beaches, evoking the presence of sea gods. It is said the reefs guard the voices of ancient chiefs, protecting this sanctuary from intruders. Walking on its white sand, a haunting question follows us. Is this the Eden we always searched for? Or is it a glass cage designed to make us forget the world we left behind? Behold the throne of a continent, the white giant defying the equatorial sun with its crown of eternal ice. Kilimanjaro is not just a mountain. It is the symbol of the human struggle to reach the unreachable, a titanic mass rising over the African plains like a monument to greatness and the fragility of our existence. It is the point where the earth ends and the domain of the clouds begins. Situated in Tanzania, Kilimanjaro is the highest peak in Africa and the highest freestanding mountain in the world, reaching 5,895 meters at Uhuru Peak. Formed by 3 volcanic cones, Kibo, Mawenzi, and Shira, its geological history began approximately 3 million years ago. Crossing its skirts is to travel through all the Earth's climates, from humid tropical forest to alpine desert and Arctic glaciers. An ascent putting human physical and spiritual limits to the test. Visually, Kilimanjaro resembles a crystal island suspended in a sea of heat. A perfect snow dome appearing like an ivory altar erected by nature to observe humanity's destiny from the absolute solitude of the sky. When the dawn light sets fire to the glaciers on its summit, the mountain exhales an energy that makes man feel insignificant before the magnitude of geological time. Local legends say the spirits of ancient kings guard the snow. Reaching its summit, where the air barely sustains life, the final question haunts us. If we have conquered the highest point of the continent, why do we feel smaller than ever before the silent gaze of this ice colossus?